And welcome to Gino Live. How's everybody doing this morning? This is Gino from Gino Live, Wall Street IO every day. So we're going to go over those fast five picks. Lesson today is going to be using the backtester down here, strategy builder, backtester, whatever we got. Market sector setup, what is that? We're going to look for the trend of the market, which is critical, right now. What sector's leading? And where's the setup in that sector? We're only looking for dojis today. Every once in a while, I'll break out of my shell and do something different. Heikin Ashi MACD. If you don't know what that is, that's the best red light, green light signal. We're looking for that start of the cycle on a doji and the end of the cycle because we want to play that trend right there. And if you look at the internals of the market, have you guys been taking advantage of this? Look how cool this is. I'm going to leave this right here. See this curtain where I'm putting it right here? I'm going to put it right about there. Why? Because when you minimize it, it disappears the chart, but when you hit it, it goes right back to where you left it. Isn't that cool? So what is it saying internally? Internally, bullish because the RSI is above 50 and the MACD is above the weekly signal. Okay? Even though we're pulling back to the 20, the breadth, meaning if you one for one count, is mixed. But there's 14 bullish setups. And if you look there they are. There they are. Do I have those setups over here in today's list? You might not notice all of them because if they're in the wrong sector, I don't want them. Okay? But if you're looking here, which way are those triggers? So if we go and look at all 500 companies of the S&P, 51% are still above the 20. But are they going down or up? Well, it tells you right here. Down today and down the last 14 days. 1%. And you can see right here how many are triggering the 20-day moving average. You see where that dot is? Most of them are triggering below it today. See that right there? And right there. And on the RSI, most of them are coming below 50. So it's critical, right? It's critical. So I want to jump to RSP because RSP is equal weighted. And it's the same thing very much when you look at the internals. Same thing because when you're looking at SPY, guess what this is based off of? Equal weight. Equal weight. So it's the same as the RSP. But if you look at the cap weight, it's all over the place, right? Like, who are these guys down here? The cap weight is just ridiculous to try to get a beat on. Because it doesn't matter if 50% of the stocks are breaking the 20 and going down. You only need the top ones. And who are the top ones? NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google to be going up. So remember, we are looking at internals on the equal weighted. Only go bullish if it's above this red line and only go bearish if it's below the red line. The red line is the 20-day moving average. If it's below the 10 and the 10's below the 20, see that crossover? It's bearish. You don't even think about it. It's bearish, even if it's rallying up. If it's above the 10, and the 10's above the 20, you stay bullish. You just don't get out. Don't get out. Leave something in there. Just keep your stop under the 10. If you get a warning like that, you can tighten up your stop. But I like to, if it's right above the 10, it's doing everything you want it to do. That is a very strong, just don't panic. Don't panic. Like here, you probably have been stopped out right about here, and then you get back in right about here. So there's a lot of rules I use. Now, do you have rules where you're bullish and where you're bearish? Yes or no? Because today's lesson, we're going to go in and test your rules under Strategy Builder and backtest indicators. And energy was our bull. Probably going to take over as the leader, probably with the war heating up here. Let me just go to the 3-year weekly because the 3-year weekly needs to be adjusted right there. And what's this one over? What's this over here? I don't know what that is. Let me delete that. So you got a lot of support here. There's not, all the moving averages are below it. That's a strong move up. Like I said, what is it, a week ago? Yeah, the peace talks are off. We're back to war. That doji was your trigger. Out of the money spreads. Energy. We talked about this last week, how the participation was getting really strong on all things energy. Energy, XOP, XLE, oil, all these. And you can see the participation right here. This is as strong as it gets when it goes that way. This is weak as it gets when it goes that way. Now, we want the velocity when it's high up in the green box, percent participation the farther to the right. So you can see this one is drifting that way, and this one's here, and this one's back in here. So we called it when these guys were right here. You remember that? You guys remember that, right? There's still 3 bullish setups in here, but watch what happens. Not what you want to see. Do you want to see this? Yes or no? Do you want to see these guys leaving the green box? Yes or no? Not really. No, you don't want to see that. That's not broad in building. That's broad in fading. And what are these 2 that left the green box? Which 2 are they? The MA20, which is the fastest, and the RSI, which is the next fastest. See that? That means more stocks have broken down below their 20-day. It says it right here. And the RSI. So are you seeing green today? No. That is like the line of demarcation. And who's next? This one right here, right? What's this one right here? That's the 50. And that means if they break the 50, they're breaking support. What we want to see is, we want to see this immediately curl back in, spiral back in. And how will we get that? Maybe earnings or a bunch of stocks, not just 1 or 2. We need a doji here, ASAP, and then a rally. And really how you read this is this. It has to break right here. If it has to break right here, you'll see the participation back in there. It's still bullish, but is this what you want to see? Approaching the red box, yes or no? Is this what you want to see on the 20? No. Is this what you want to see on the 50? No, it's breaking out of the green box today. The 200, it's still there. It can circle back in, right? The MACD weekly is still bullish. It's the last one to turn a lot of times. And that one right there, not good. We don't want to see it go in the red. These guys need to immediately slow the roll and go back in. So what does that mean? We need to see a doji immediately here in a reversal. One more day down and you're going to see things moving in the red box. How cool are these internals, you guys? Now, when you look at this, can I throw a Fibonacci? Do we have time? There's your Fibo right at the 61.8. Right at the 61.8. Look at that. The trend. You guys agree that's the bottom of the trend? And that's the top of the trend? There's your... So that's what it's flirting with right there. And it found support there on the regular candles. So tomorrow, if we get a little bit of a bloop bloop like that, we might see some bottom line. You need to break above here, which is probably the 78 on the fib. So biotech, you are critical. Go out there and save healthcare, would you? So I go in this screener, I look to today's picks, and I look at bull stocks. I'm going to take this off current watch list and say all stocks. Here you go. I like things close to the 20-day moving average. See how it's 6.5%, 1.8? This one's closer to the moving average. So what I like to do is I like to sort it by, like, do you want one that's 13% off the moving average? No. You want one that's close. Well, I do. Hey, real estate's setting up. Now here's today's candidates. TMDX is in healthcare. That's bullish. Is it? I don't know, man. I kind of need a trigger on healthcare, don't you? I need a trigger. Biotech, yes, but we'll go look to see if this is biotech. That's it. There's a bank financials. Big banks are bullish. Big banks are bullish. It's healthcare. So healthcare, I don't know. I might wait on healthcare. And see all these here? Biotech most likely is okay. But notice how everything's healthcare financials here. Not seeing any transportation. That's 6.6. That's going to be too far off the movie now. We'll look at it. But you add it to today's watch list. Oh, and in order to do that, see today's candidates, I have to make it private. So now I can add it. So hang on, everybody. I'm going to add it to the watch list. Today's candidates, add to watch list. What if I was to trade this in my strategy builder and backtest this? What if I said, you know what? You're going to see this here. This is buy and hold. What if I buy and hold, but not buy and hold, but what if I wait for the MACD to turn bullish? Just by waiting for the MACD, right? And what it's going to do, if you look at this, it's automatically going to do the opposite. So if you put the buy in here, it's going to put the sell in here. By just following the MACD, there's your annual return, your batting average, your risk reward. And if you don't know if it's good or bad, it labels it for you here. Now, right away, if you're brand new, you're like, oh, 44% sucks. Yeah, you want to get this about 50 or higher, and this to be at 2 or higher. Because when you're right, you make 13%. When you're wrong, if you go back in history, this is only 3 years. Let's go back and see how many years we can get history on here. 5 years, 43%, 10 years, 41, 20 years. So yeah, just on the MACD alone isn't the greatest, right? So I like to see if it's consistent across the different years. What if we added another one in here? Does this help? What if we said the Heikin Ashi, and this is at or above the buy signal, but let's say the Heikin Ashi has to be bullish, right? And on candle number 1. And when we get out, the Heikin Ashi has to be bearish on candle number 1. So just by doing that, now I'm at 47%, 2.3, not the best return, right? So once I find the indicators I like, or I put my system here, if I want it to email me, remind me when it gives me a buy signal. So basically, when I look at the chart up here, see the chart? Now, if you're brand new, this will blow you away. You can actually put those buy and sell signals right here, show trade markers. And it'll tell you this is when those went bullish and bearish. See, here's your bull signal right here. And you're out. Here's your bull signal right here. Right? And if you subscribe right there, see the subscribe button? Right there, it'll email you. It'll email you and let you know you got a buy signal based on this. And you can put notes in there and say, you know, down here, this is a buy signal I made up, whatever. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. You guys like that? And let's go check it on 20 years. On 20 years, it's 46%, but 2.2. On 5 years, 40% in the last 3 years. And it's 1.8 the last 1 year. We're still working on that. 50%, 2-1. So you can kind of see it's pretty consistent. And what I like doing about this is if you trade something all the time, here's your losses. Do I need a 5% stop loss if that's the biggest drawdown? Not really. See, I like where I can say, you know what? I know what the biggest drawdown, here's 4%. 4%, right? So going back in history, 10 years, on the overview, average drawdown is right here. So I can use a 3% stop loss and know that I'm not going to get whipsawed that much. How cool is that? And let me look at more here. Max drawdown. I can put the max drawdown and see what the biggest drawdown is. Pretty cool. Biggest loss, biggest win. So there's a lot of data here. So if you know your favorites, if you have a system, backtest it here.